Peace, family, peace and blessings. Happy Thursday, happy Thursday, happy Thursday, or happy whatever day, on whatever day that you are watching this video. I feel called to create a video about how I got started on my spiritual journey. I feel like others may need to hear this story. Again, my name is Trinice. I've been on my spiritual journey since I was about 22 years old. I am now 28. So about 6 solid years been on my spiritual journey, just becoming more aware of myself. And the biggest lesson though that I want to talk to you guys about is the biggest lesson regarding my spiritual journey. The lesson that I learned is don't do it to yourself. I'm going to repeat it and say it again. Don't do it to yourself. A lot of the times it's easier to blame other people or to hype things up because oh, this person literally came in and did something wrong to me. But what about when you did something wrong to yourself? What about when you abandon yourself? What about when you ignore those red flags? What kind of cycle does that start type of thing? Because I'm going to share with you what it started for me. I'm going to share with you how I got myself out of it and what I'm still learning and what I'm still healing from to this day to literally tell myself I'm okay. Okay, and that this was just a phase, But that's how it is with your spiritual journey, okay? So don't do it to yourself. The lesson behind that and what happened with that was that I ignored my intuition with every red flag I received, every gut feeling. I mean, it was times, y'all, my stomach was hurting about stuff. And I'm going to give you a specific example. There was times where my stomach was hurting, anxiety, battling mentally with myself, insomnia, couldn't sleep type of thing. So every time I ignored my intuition, I went into a phase of silencing myself. Because I dealt with a lot of people growing up, and now I'm speaking on my childhood wounds, but growing up, I dealt with a lot of people calling me crazy. A lot of people called me crazy. They would gaslight me out of the things that I would feel and what I would see and what I would know. I was a very smart kid. So unfortunately, I was the type of kid where I would have a good idea, and instead of taking the idea and giving me credit, people would take it from me, do something differently with it, type of thing. So I dealt with a lot of that. It just pushed me into a space of really feeling like all of the sensations I was feeling. I mean, I got to a point where I started believing that might have been something wrong with me. So I went through a very deep healing phase just to uncover all of that. Because silencing yourself comes with so many forms of mental battles that people do not realize. But in all, I was betraying myself. I kept wondering why betrayal was showing up within my relationships with different people and whatnot. I kept wondering, why does this keep showing up? And it was because I was betraying myself. I was betraying the divine sending me signs. They were trying to alert me, and I sometimes would not listen. In the right moments, I didn't listen when it pertained to the people who were actually hurting me. I didn't see it. So I'm going to share this story with y'all about my college roommate. She kind of kicked off the healing journey. I give thanks for that, okay? Because she kicked it off, okay? She kicked it off. I'm not gonna lie. And again, if y'all see me looking down, I got some outlines and I'm just trying to make sure. Sorry, I got some outlines and I'm just trying to make sure I follow it. From day one, I would say the energy was very weird. So I have the kind of family, they kind of sheltered me a little bit. I didn't really get out much. So when I went away to school, I had a hard time literally being away from my folks because I had been conditioned so much to be codependent on them. That's a story for another day. But, when it came down though, my dad, we have a very tight bond. So he was crying a lot, and my mama started crying. I was crying. We was all just bawling our tears when they dropped me off of school. But you know, to us, that was like a normal thing. Like, okay, we just did that. Okay, you know, they still continue to cry afterwards, but it don't matter. What ended up happening was my roommate went down to school like the day before. She had already like texted me and stuff just to be like, hey, introduce myself, I'm your roommate, da da da. But I didn't think none of it. I had never met her in person, so I was just like, okay, my roommate reached out to me. She came back to the room after my parents left, and when I told her like what happened. She was like, oh, how was moving in and whatnot. Cause I guess she immediately noticed like, wow, everything is like put away, put together. But my people like did that. Like my mama was on it. Like, we finna decorate, put the, you know what I'm saying, type thing. So just immediately looking at that, she was just kind of like, you know, like, wow, like y'all got everything together. I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, but that was my normal. Like, oh yeah, my mama did X, Y, and Z. You know, my dad made sure I had everything, like, you know, yeah, like, you know, type thing like that. I didn't think none of it. But mind you, the whole time, it's like that started off, that kicked off the comparison. That kicked it off. If it wasn't already kicked off in her mind prior to that. But in my mind, as far as my first interaction with her, that was the kicker. That like kicked it off. So like she never stopped comparing herself. I was the type of person, when I woke up in the morning, I would immediately like make my bed, get dressed, get in the shower, brush my teeth, you know, still am that person. And she would be the type to kind of be like, why do you like get up and like do that like right away? Like how do you, she even asked me one day, like, how do you keep your side of the room so clean? And I was just like, you know, it was normal to me. Like, I was conditioned into that. So I didn't know how to answer that. But I guess for her, it was like, I'm leaving her out on some big secret, you know, so she kind of found ways to compete with that. So, she started trying to wake up before I did. And like, it became trying to wake up before I did, trying to come tell me like, oh, I cleaned my side, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was like, okay, like it was just weird. Like, you know, it was weird. I knew the dynamic. I'm very much aware now, so I understand the dynamic. She didn't have the type of relationship where her mother was like taking her into like things like that, like how to take care of yourself, like, you know, clean up and, you know, hygiene and stuff like that. Her mom wasn't into that, you know, and a lot of people mom is not. So I kind of took it upon myself to just begin trying to educate her about certain stuff, bring her awareness to certain stuff. But I'm gonna tell y'all, don't do that to people who literally know that they're doing stuff to you. But anyways, she even got involved a lot with like my love life. There was a time where there was like this guy I was dating, and she went and like involved herself on some like third party type stuff without my like, I didn't tell her to do what she did. And so like she took it upon herself to like try to like check it was a lot. It was a lot. Okay. She was a little bit too much involved with that. You know what I'm saying? It even got to a point with this roommate where you know, we were a part of an organization together, and she got upset with me or something like that, and then literally verbally told me like, I feel like I've been living in your shadow for the past 4 years or whatever. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, dang, 4 years ago was when we joined this organization, and then all of a sudden you're telling me that you feel like you've been living in my shadow, and you're admitting that you're jealous. I was like, you've been my quote unquote friend this whole time, all these years, but you've been jealous and feeling like you're living in my shadow. Y'all, that was like the most darkest thing I felt like anybody could have told me. Especially like the type of person that I am. Like, I was so taken aback because I didn't see it. Girl, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I did not see it. Like, I didn't see it. I saw what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a person who actually really needed my help, and to see myself go and help that person, because that felt like I was healing my inner child to me, to go and help that person, right? No, that person was not grateful at all at any moment in time where I helped her, right, educate herself about something, whether it was guys, cleaning, hygiene, or just overall just being a woman, because I got more stories for days. Don't get me started about me moving out, because when that moment happened, I knew, okay, so that day happened, that night, or if it wasn't a couple nights later, but I think it was that night. That night, I couldn't sleep. And it was a little bit too often, me living with this person, that I couldn't sleep, actually. So it was one night in particular, Spirit literally told me to take a drive, and I got in my car. But before I got in my car, let me tell y'all what happened when I walked outside. I think before this, I had did like a prayer or something to God. I got deeper in my prayer work. I started praying, and I literally just asked God. I said, can you please send me an angel to help me get out of this situation? And God sent Goddess Aset to me. How do I know? Because I started doing a bunch of research, because I was like, something just happened and I'm trying to figure out. Well, what happened was, when I stepped outside, y'all, the fattest, biggest owl was sitting on a branch, and that thing was looking dead at me and flew off. I was like, whoa, baby. Oh my gosh, I was like, what? Like, whoa, like, I had goosebumps. I got goosebumps now. I had goosebumps all over me. Like, whoa, I was like, dog, what was that? But I knew God had just literally answered my prayer. I knew something was going on that night, because she was upstairs and she was up, and I could just hear her walking around in her room. Mind you, prior to this night, she had already admitted to going and getting tarot readings and stuff like that. So, and this was all around COVID. So, around COVID, a lot of people was waking up around that time and stuff. Well, I was waking up, but I was in more of a Tahuti mode. So I was like observing what I was seeing and like writing a lot of stuff down, feeling like I need to talk and tell people stuff. Like, I was in that mode. She went completely in like a very dark direction. Like, I remember having like prophetic messages and stuff that I was saying at that time, but I had no idea we was getting ready to happen. It was 2019. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew I was waking up, and I was like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? I was like, what? Something is going on. I was like, we all about to be like doing stuff. I said, we about to be slaying evil spirits. And, I was just, saying stuff like that. To me, I was saying in a very joking way. I'm like a little jokester sometimes. I was saying it in like a very joking way, but I was serious. I was very, very serious. Little did I know I was serious, and I was prophetizing some things. So when I said that to her, she was like, looked at me like, and she was like, I'm about to go give me a reading. Like, I don't know. And I was just like, okay, I didn't think none of it. Again, didn't think none of it. Where am I at in this story? So, I'm kind of lost track just a little bit. I know I was telling y'all about me seeing the owl and everything like that. So during the late night drive, that's why I brought that up, because she was up there. She was doing stuff in her room or whatever. I felt like it was like some witchcraft type stuff going on. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if she was trying to destiny swap or just straight up siphon energy from me, which it was probably the siphoning is what I feel like she was probably more than likely doing the most, because she just felt that inadequate about herself, that like she would gaslight me out of everything, or if I gave an idea, she might be like, oh no, I was thinking that too. Try to beat you to the point type of thing. So be careful. Pay attention to these behavior patterns that I'm pointing out, because that lets you know that's a frenemy. That's not your real friend. That's your frenemy. If a person, you give an idea and then she try to meet you halfway, no, give me credit for my idea. I said it. I would tell you, like, you had a good idea, so tell me I got a good idea. There's no need to compare, like, who's getting the better idea here. Like, it was weird to me. Anyways, so in the car while I was taking that late night drive, Spirit told me you need to move. And so I did. I gave her a 3-month notice, let her know in advance, hey, I'm moving, etc., etc. 3-month notice. 1, 2, 3. Not 1 month, 3. I gave her 3 months notice in advance because that's how serious I was and I knew it was going to happen. So by the time I moved, yeah, she started acting a fool, trying to break stuff and all type of stuff. Yeah, turned out to be very psychotic. So that put me on a path of healing myself. I went into isolation mode. I went, because I went ahead and got my apartment, so I went into isolation mode. I started meditating, praying daily because I knew, and then I said was there, so it was like she just kept continuing guiding me. I just kept continuing to connecting with her, and it got deeper because I started to face my mother wound issues that brought me to that point, right? Because a lot of the times with betrayal, again, with the self-betrayal, you put yourself there. So when I'm talking about this situation with my college roommate, essentially I put myself there because I wasn't trusting myself. I kept going through the continuous cycles where this person continuously showed me who they were until I got away from it. I had to get away from it. So I knew I had more healing to do. I just knew it. I knew I knew I had more healing to do. I knew it. It even took for me to, after I moved, it's like I let her back in one more time. And during this time, I had lost my brother. So that's the reason why I did it. But note to y'all and note to myself to never, when you're feeling low, don't ever let nobody back in. That's when they really try to feast on you. But anyways, I had lost my older brother. Very, very sudden. It was tough. And I remember when I called her to tell her about it, she started crying. Like, I wasn't even crying. I kind of just needed somebody to hold space for me. And she immediately was like, what? As if it was her brother. Like, y'all, I'm sitting here looking at her like, what the fuck? I'm like, what is going on? Like, this person is crying. Like, she just started bawling. And she was like, I just feel so bad. And I'm just like, it was the tears. And it was so low-key fake, but it dawned on me in that moment, like, wow, anytime it was my moment, you tried to take it. You wanted to take it, or you wanted a piece of it, or you wanted me to share it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you was complaining about feeling like you were in my shadow. Like, So again, going back to the lessons. When a person show you who they are, believe it. Believe it, believe it, believe it. When they admit that they feel some kind of way towards you, believe it. Even if they joking. I don't even care if they joking. They might be like, oh, I was just playing. No, you are serious. You serious? You for real. Because a lot of times people just be trying to play with you. They be trying to test you to see if they can mess with you like that. Don't you ever make no joke about me. Don't ever do that. Because I'm going to know you for real. Pay attention to those who feel like they can only benefit, or that pay attention to those who you feel like they only benefit from you that you don't benefit from. If you start analyzing those relationships and the ones that that you're not getting anything out of, if you start analyzing those relationships, you might find some little, flags of jealousy and envy and whatnot up in there, okay? And the biggest thing about this lesson was that I felt like it kept reoccurring. Even after I distanced myself from this person, I would see the situation pop up again. And I would be wondering, why is this happening again? I thought I got past this. But no, it was spirit still trying to show me you're still betraying yourself, just in other ways. I need you to keep trusting yourself. Because sometimes it might just be about relationships. Sometimes it might just be about that man or that woman. Sometimes it might just be about that job. But sometimes it's about an entirely bigger picture that the divine is trying to relay to you. So, I'm trying to see. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm getting ready and why I'm here to continue to speak my truth, to show y'all the signs and synchronicities of self-betrayal, so you can get in touch with your intuition, so you can go follow all your dreams and your desires, because that's where it lies, in your intuition, within you trusting yourself and no longer battling yourself or asking somebody else outside of you if they can validate this ideal or this thing for you. So like I said, I'm just here to speak my truth. Every day as a healer, as a woman, you know, I feel like I've been through it. I feel like I'm still evolving. But at the end of the day, I just want to be authentic and real and just speak my truth. Yeah, y'all, I went through a whole bunch of self-betrayal. I went through a whole bunch of it. And I'm ready to talk about it. Let's talk about it, because I know I ain't the only one. Let's talk about it, family. So I'll see you on the next one. You going to the next one? Okay, I'll see you there. Peace.